Today I fucked up by assuming someone was a child. So this was quite a few years ago now, but I still think about it and feel awful. I used to work in a pub where there were two sections. The lower section of the pub was for adults only, to drink and eat without the annoyance of children running around and making a ruckus. The upper section was for families with children. One night it's quite busy and I'm doing my walk around the pub collecting empty glasses. I'm in the lower section of the pub and I spot a blonde woman sitting with what looked like a 5 to 6 year old blonde girl. Her back was facing me so I couldn't see her face. Now normally I wouldn't have said anything, but being as the general manager was on shift I didn't really have a choice. So I go over and speak to the blonde woman. "Hello, I am so sorry but children are not permitted in this area of the pub. We have seating in the upper section." The little girl turned around to face me. My heart stopped, started sweating profusely, and I must have gone as red as a tomato. It turned out that the little girl was actually a little person. She must have been about 30 years old. I completely froze as she just started at me with a face of disgust, understandably. After what seemed like a year of my life, but was probably only about 3 seconds, I apologized and offered her a complimentary beverage. She declined. I apologized again and walked into the glass room. I sat down in the floor, put my face in my hands and prayed for the ground to swallow me up. Too long didn't read, tried to do my job properly for once and ended up offending a little person who I thought was a little girl. I had this happen to me when I bought my house. I was about 21 to 22 years old when I bought my house, and one day there was a door-to-door salesman knocking in our neighborhood, and when he came to my house and I opened, he asked if my parents were home. I said that they're probably at their own house, and the guy just melted. He was so embarrassed he didn't even try to sell me his crap. Okay, understandable that she was just upset like it seems. He probably has to deal a lot with unfairness and discrimination already, and now you did that too. But it was not your intent and you apologized. You did your best, man. A flight attendant once told me children weren't allowed to sit by the emergency exit. I informed her I was in fact 27. Lol. I work in a job where we have many women well under 5 that I work with. It's not your fault you made this assumption. Honest mistake. As long as you apologize, which you did, one should be okay. Today I fucked up by taking a shower. So every few weeks we have someone who cleans our house. Today is one of those days. Well, I realize I have to go to work today, so I hop in the shower not thinking anything of it. I finish up and realize that the cleaner has taken all of the towels out of the bathroom to be washed. So I'm standing in the shower dripping wet thinking how I'm going to go get a towel without traumatizing the cleaner. So I get the great idea to run to my room and hope the cleaner isn't outside the bathroom. I open the door and start my mad dash to my room, and I look down the hallway. Well, lo and behold, the cleaner is standing in the hallway just staring while I'm running as fast as I can while not slipping. I dry off and get dressed in my room. So now I'm sitting in my room making this post and wondering how I'm going to pay for the therapy the cleaner is going to require after seeing my naked ass slip and sliding down the hallway. Sorry for any spelling/grammar mistakes. I'm so mortified I can't think straight. Too long didn't read. I traumatized my house cleaner by forgetting a towel and running naked to my room. Lesson: never take showers, they are bad for you. Genius. Clarify your sex and their sex, please, for full understanding. Me, 18 meters, and the cleaner is a she. You should have asked her to get a towel and leave it in the bathroom while you hid behind the curtain. I bet this isn't the first time a cleaner sees something like that. It must be a very regular thing. He probably shakes his head and forget about it. Imagine how often these things would happen with hotel cleaners and that much rooms. Today I fucked up by explaining to a young Muslim girl what porn is. Obligatory. This didn't actually happen today but 7 to 8 years ago, but it still makes me cringe and I still think about it a lot. So here goes. I used to teach English in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I had students from all over the world, and a significant number were from East Asia and the Middle East. This particular class, almost all of them were from Libya. IDK if you're familiar with the Arabic language, but they lack certain sounds, for example, ch and in chair or bu as in person. For instance, instead of pronouncing it Pepsi they call it Beepsy. So I'm in class doing this exercise with them to help their pronunciation, where you place a piece of paper in front of your mouth and say a word that starts with B like born, and the paper has to stay still, and you say a word that starts with P like pen, and you have to push a puff of air out with the P to make the paper move. It just sounds like a breathy, exaggerated P, but it helps them differentiate between B and P. Anyway, class is over and this young maybe 18 to 19 years very sweet Muslim girl comes to my desk and she goes, "Teacher, what is porn?" with a very exaggerated, breathy P, and I kind of get flushed and mumbled a little and try to explain. Well, it's like a movie but for adults, not for kids. It's not very nice. Movie for old people? Well, not exactly old people, but it shows things that aren't suitable for younger people. It shows people begin very close to each other. Teacher, I don't understand. What mean when you say I was porn in Libya? So apparently she was still stuck on the exercise and was pronouncing all B's as hard P's. At this point I'm turning purple for trying to teach her about porn, and I'm struggling to explain birth without using my hands and mimicking a vagina. So I tell her it means it's your country and look it up in a dictionary. Too long, didn't read. Young mulling students asks me a question incorrectly. I end up explaining to her what adult movies are. SMH. Username checks out. Haha. When I read the title I knew you were fucked up. Damn, a 19 years old doesn't know what porn is. Reminds me of when I almost explained porn to an 11-year-old. I'm from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and just so people don't imagine us all speaking like the Middle Easterns, I'm here to give some, nobody asked, but here it is, some accent profiles for our citizens. Most us speak English without the Arabic accent, although we have our own Malaysian accent that varies between Chinese, Indian, Muslim, Aboriginals, and those that were brought up in Borneo, kind of like the UK and their different city accents, except this is dependent on race primarily, with geography being secondary.